The wind howled through the stone corridors of abandoned castle. With each gust, the moaning and whispers of the dead souls echoed, creating an unsettling ambience as they were accompanied by the pitter patter of the rain. People from nearby villages spoke of how these ruins were haunted, and no one dared to enter the place, whose sad walls had been melted by a magical inferno years ago. The sound of footsteps echoed through the area, followed by the low rumble of a beast. Alison brushed her fingers over the wet, mossy stones, and she started humming a melody, feeling the energy of this place speaking to her. A soft smile appeared on her face, and she tapped her fingers against the wall a few times. Suddenly, a warm light enveloped the area, and she stole a glance at her companion, noticing its powerful jaws were opened and the fire was burning brightly. It was a dragon with dark scales, withered by age and time, bloodied and scared. The shimmering amber eyes followed the woman as if she was his true love, a soulmate. Her golden locks cascaded down her shoulders, bouncing with the rhythm of her walk. With the light chasing away the darkness, she brushed her hand over her friend's head, feeling the heat reverberating through his scales. While he was holding the fire in his mouth, he released a low vibration through his throat, making it sound as if he was purring like a cat. Alison laughed, and her cheerful sound echoed through the damp corridors. "They'll pay for what they have done to us, my dear. We shall burn them," spoke Alison with spite in her voice. Within moments, they got to the enormous opening in the melted wall. Her amber gaze lingered on the vastness of the green fields, and her heart twisted with fury. "We are the last ones of our dynasty, my dear. We shall remind them what it means to fear our magic." The dragon closed its mouth, cutting off the fire and light. He tilted his head to the side, and his tail swished before it curled up around her legs. She stole a glance at him, reaching with her hand towards his head, gently brushing her fingers over his scales. Once again he purred, leaning his massive head closer, nudging her with his nose. She nodded, giving him a signal. Without a second thought, she opened her arms and her fingers moved swiftly, and between them sparks of magic crackled with their power. Within moments, she tore a bigger hole in the wall, watching the stones fall down with a low thud on the ground. As she jumped down, her companion followed her, quickly spreading his enormous wings. Alison gracefully landed on his back, gripping the spike of his neck to hold herself as the wind was whistling past her. She could feel his strong muscles, the way his body was shifting in the air as he flew. A low growl escaped his throat, and he stole a glance at her. Together they soared in the sky, and his wings were so powerful that within 2 hours the gaze lingered on the city. She felt the magic coursing through her veins and through the body of her massive lover who used to be human. Their minds melted into one, and she whispered softly how she loved and cared for him. He muttered that he would sacrifice himself to protect her if something went wrong. With a heavy heart, she took a deep breath. It was time for her revenge. She could almost taste the oily heaviness on her tongue as the dragon breathed in the air just to pour down his magical fire onto the city. Alison watched how the buildings exploded under the powerful flames, crumbling into pieces and ash. People screamed, and their cries echoed. The smoke crawled up into the sky, spreading its darkness. Her magic pulsed through her body, and she extended her arms, spreading the red sparkles of her energy. Suddenly, the ember fire turned into something more powerful, swirling and twirling, taking on a crimson hue. As the dragon moved its massive wings, the air moved through the city, fiercely commanding the flames to devour everything in its path. With Alison's magic, everything turned into a living hell, with fire tornadoes spreading their madness. After a few bloody hours, the screams disappeared, replaced by the crackling of the flames devouring the buildings. The dragon landed on the stone walls, feeling the crumble under its weight. He roared, and its voice was carried by the wind, announcing his victory. Alison sighed heavily, staring at the destruction and tattered banners fluttering, slowly turning into ash. Her lips quivered as she thought of hundreds of thousands of people dying in the most horrific way, with no way of escape, burned alive. And so their souls paid the price for what they have done to us, my dear, muttered Alison. The pain squeezed her heart, and she felt a few tears sliding down her cheeks. She patted her dragon's neck, silently signaling him to get back to the ruins of their dynasty castle. When his massive body landed on the ground, the earth quaked under his feet. A low growl escaped his throat, and he turned his head, watching his rider slide down to the ground. She stumbled, and he quickly switched his tail, keeping her steady. A weak smile appeared on her face, and she looked at him with pain and sadness. "It is time, my love," whispered Alison. A scream escaped her lips, and she felt her legs giving out. The dragon wrapped its tail around her, helping to lower down her on the ground. Tears streamed down her cheeks, and she felt the fire burning in her lungs. Her companion's head nudged her with his nose, spreading the warmth around her. Her magic wrapped around her, and she screamed once again. The pain enveloped her, spreading like the curse her dynasty was carrying. A powerful roar escaped her lips, and she started claving her own skin, feeling the scales growing underneath. Her companion was staring at her with pain and sadness in his eyes, as he too had experienced that many years ago. When the moon took over the sky, her screams turned into something else. As the sunlight enveloped her, she spread her wings, and her burgundy scales shimmered in the morning. Alison, now a dragon, looked at her lover, and he nudged her with his nose, trying to comfort her. Now they were together, magical beasts, bound by the curse placed on her family and anyone who joined the dynasty. Despite what they have done, they could shelter themselves within the melted stone walls of the ruined castle, creating their own home. Anyone who would dare to come closer to their den would burn alive, as they would do anything to protect their territory. None of their children would ever be human, and after generations, they would forget how to speak, turning the entire dynasty into nothing more than magical beasts.